Larry, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So I'm excited to talk about Namely, which is a company that is definitely been growing very aggressively over the past few years, and it's ultimately helping companies build a better workplace through your modern HR stack. So we're going to talk a lot about what you guys do and all the details there, but let's talk about your background. So talk about your experience prior to joining the company.
Yeah, sure. I joined Namely 7 months ago to help kind of lead the business kind of to the next phases of our evolution. I'm a person that spent his entire professional career in the work of HR technology. So I've basically worked for 4 different companies, a variety of roles. I've done pretty much anything you can do in an HR software company. Most recently, I spent 7 years at a company called Ceridian, where I left as our chief revenue officer. And then I spent some time doing some board and consulting work and a short interim gig in San Francisco before I moved to New York in September.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about Namely. So in case people aren't familiar with the company, what does Namely do?
Sure. Great question. We've been around since 2012. It was founded by some entrepreneurs that thought they could do, kind of create a better mousetrap for technology for HR organizations, specifically in the mid-market, which for us is roughly 50 to 500 employees. And those organizations have some unique needs. They have very unique compliance needs. They have an operational need to really just make the back office work because the person or persons responsible for that are few and far between in organizations of that size. So they want us to make things invisible. And so that's our mission, to create better workplaces. And we do that by providing, people, process, and technology that supports that in effective ways. And we've grown like crazy during that time and evolved as a business. And, we're looking for people to help us, write that next chapter.
Now, being that you service the mid-market, I mean, that's just a tremendous, large market opportunity.
Yeah, it's huge. It's billions of dollars just in the United States alone.
And I think what's key is, as a small business owner myself, like you want to focus on your core business and you want things to be simple when it comes to HR, payroll, benefits. So I'm sure the functionality just makes, these small to mid-sized companies a lot easier, and just the overall ability to comply with different regulations just a lot simpler.
Yeah, something that's unique about what we think it differentiates us is this whole idea of making things invisible. A small business owner or a head of HR in a smaller organization most importantly wants to interact with their employees on those things that make a difference, that help with engagement, not whether the paycheck was correct or whether they went to the doctor and the benefits card was accepted. And so, our vision is to really make those invisible and even operate them for customers under certain circumstances if they wish, to really allow them to focus on that face-to-face interchange that really advances the relationship between the employee and the company.
Now, what's the current, stage of the company as far as, number of employees and growth plans ahead?
Yeah, we're at about 400 employees now. And we estimate between attrition and expansion, we'll hire about 200 people this year.
Wow. Okay. And is that pretty much across all functional areas?
Yeah, it's all over the place. In New York in particular, we hire for all of our most complex professional positions, payroll operations, engineering, product management, finance, HR. And then our service center is in Atlanta. So our entry-level support positions generally are based there. We have a small advanced support center here in New York, but most of that's in Atlanta.
Now, when you're hiring people to join Namely, what are like some of the attributes you generally look for?
We really look for people that, kind of as we talk to them are gonna represent our values. We want people that are engaged in the work, not just coming to work because they need to get a check. We want them to own their own performance and be accountable for it. We want them to be giving people. We want them to give with empathy and support to each other. We want them to have interests inside or outside the business that better the world. And we really want them to own and be accountable for their performance and find the right ways to do that in an effective way.
Now, once someone does join the company, what's the day-to-day culture like working there?
It's, one of our engaged value is really all about bringing your authentic self to work. So if you get the work done, we want people to express themselves. We want them to approach that in ways that make sense for them. And so we have a very relaxed work environment. It's a big open space. People love the facility. It's a beautiful old building by the World Trade Center. And we have all the normal trappings that people expect in startups, the cold brew and the like. But mostly, and this is the most important part, just create, a relaxed environment that helps people do their best work and be accountable for results. Beyond that, I couldn't care less.
Well, if you are interested in joining Namely, you can check out their job openings on VentureFizz. Go to their biz page, which is venturefizz.com/namely, and you'll see all their listings there. And as Larry mentioned, they're hiring across pretty much every functional area. And if you do want to see the inside look of their offices, we did an office tour with Namely not too long ago. So you'll see lots of beautiful pictures of their really, really cool offices. Larry, thanks so much for bringing us up to speed on all the great things going on at Namely.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.